Hi, it's Camila Rose from the Bliss Institute, and I am here with another reading for the new moon in Cancer 2019, right after summer solstice. Well, I mean, not, like literally right after, but soon after summer solstice. And I've got my little document that I'm going to be referring to, which has the card pulls from the full moon in Sagittarius, summer solstice, and now the new moon in Cancer. So we can kind of see a progression of the energy as we go for each sign. Let's talk though, because the first card, the general energy card for this new moon in Cancer, ooh, we know this card. It is the Nine of Swords. There's a glare. There we go. Nine of Swords. All right. Stop torturing yourself. It appears that this is a time, and maybe it's that whole reflection thing that's going on with the Hangman energy for the summer, where we are just like, oh my gosh, let me review all of the things, and it's really stressful, and it feels like a lot, and it feels like something that I just really want to be able to review all the things, go really deep into all of the things that I've done and where I've been and how I got to where I am now and where I want to go, but I want to have a lot of fun, but it's really hot, so I don't really want to be outside, and there's stuff going on in the politics and in environment and in my own social group and my family and business, and girl, this is madness. This is not where we want to stay. We can be there for a little while. It is Hangman, so we can be there for a little while, but we must come out of this. We must make a plan. There must be some forward movement. And Cancer, so we have Cancer, and it's this really deep, really thorough, very nurturing. It is the shell, it is the home, it is the mother, it is the womb. And so you have this really nurturing, beautiful energy to be able to safely do this, to be able to really go through all the things that have caused you trauma or pain, and to figure out how that happened and what you can do with it and where you can go from it and how you can heal it. So that's beautiful. It really is a beautiful thing. We just don't want to stay there. So we want to make sure that we utilize the energy of this new moon so that we are able to do this assessment, to figure out what needs to be worked on, and to make a plan. And you don't have to move very quickly. It doesn't have to be something that's so logical, but it can be something that gets some type of growth from it, because that's what we do. That's what the womb and the earth and what the home is for. It is a safe space to be able to plant seeds to grow, but you're creating this environment. It's not meant for you to stay there forever. You never, the crabs, they pick a new shell as they outgrow them. You're not meant to be here forever. You're meant to be here until you've done the work that needs to be done in this space, and then to be able to move on. So we will be here for a little while, and then we will move forward. So this is what's going on for every sign as we are in the space of the new moon in Cancer, with this Nine of Swords energy kind of really having us review our thoughts and our ways of creating connection and our mental processes for just kind of understanding the world around us. So first up, we have the wonderful Aries, and we have the Five of Cups, and it is reversed. So Aries, let's look at where you were. Full moon in Sagittarius, you had the Fool reversed, and then for the summer solstice, you had the Ten of Pentacles. So you've had this kind of a roller coaster a little bit going on. And I don't think that that's anything that is out of the ordinary, and it's definitely not outside of something that you can handle. So this Five of Cups is really saying, all right, so I've got wonderful material abundance going on. I've got that Ten of Cups, Ten of Pentacles. Woohoo. That energy I really wanted to get going is here, and it's moving, and my business is flourishing, and my stocks are coming in, and I'm so happy. And now I'm looking at another area of my life. Appropriately for the summertime and Cancer season, I'm looking at my relationships. And maybe I've had some regrets, but this card is in reverse. Remember. So ordinarily this would just be, okay, I've had some regrets. you know, but I've got things to look forward to and I just need to remember that. This one's saying that you're probably looking at those cups and saying, thank God, good riddance, let's go, let me turn around, let me look at these cups, look at this life that I've got going for me. But it doesn't negate the sadness that's underlying as you're reviewing these things, and maybe some of the nostalgia that's coming up for you in reviewing these things. It'd be interesting to see what Venus is doing at this time. But it doesn't negate that. It doesn't mean that you won't still maybe have a yearning for what was. But it does mean that you are in the process of working towards turning towards those cups, hopefully. And that you are not so stuck in these memories and these thoughts of what was or what could have been that the cups have just disappeared. That's not what this card is indicating. But it is saying that maybe you've got to look up. You've got to look up. You've got to raise your head up and see what's available around you. And that from there, you can start to make some forward movement. And to understand that the cups that are no longer available, the relationships that didn't work out, the folks that maybe you've been fighting with, you know, there were lessons to be learned there. And now it's time to turn towards the 2 cups that are still available for you so that you can turn that into 6 cups, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and have that really fulfilling, loving relationship that you would like to have to give you the full package, not just the success on a material realm, but success in different aspects and areas of your life. And they won't always stay that way, but that you can always be moving towards having that improvement and having that space of reflection and going through, you know, just the magic and the beauty of relationships. All right, so next we have Taurus. And Taurus, we have the 5 of Wands. So this is just straight up conflict. There's no better way to really say that. And I mean, you can see it. You can see the conflict. Now, is this external conflict? Is this internal conflict? As is kind of indicated by this 9 of Swords. You're fighting against yourself. Your thoughts are at war. You had the Princess of Swords for the summer solstice. And so we talked about how it's really important for you to be able to stand up for yourself and speak your truth. And maybe if this is not something that you're used to doing, now you're wondering if you did the right thing. You know, you're thinking, okay, was this the right move? Is this the space I should have made? Should I have said that to this person? Should I not? Okay, things feel different, but they feel okay. You know, there's a lot of movement. Wands are usually a lot of movement. And with that 5, it's a lot of movement that's kind of coming together. Think of it like a square or a kind of clash, you know? So there's just lots of stuff kind of banging up together. That's not necessarily a bad thing. But because it gives you a chance for you to actually see the relationships between how you've been in these spaces before and see these connections. If you're going to be wallowing in all these thoughts and memories, you might as well figure out what connects them together and how you've come to this space. So see kind of where these pings come up and where these spaces where you've had to speak up for yourself and how that's worked out. And are there similar characteristics in the person that you've had to express this with again? And you know, is it an environment thing, or is it a place where it's like, okay, you know what? Sometimes I will just doubt myself and I will have to come back to a space of stability, because you are Taurus and you have that ability with you. You have that knowledge and kind of brought in ability to stand up for others. You've got these big old horns, you know, you're a bull, you can be very stubborn. But that can be good for you when you need to stand your ground. You're strong. You're very strong. So although you might question yourself, there's nothing wrong with that, because that is how you grow and that is how you learn. Again, though, with that movement, use that to learn, use it to grow, and we'll keep moving. How about that? All right. So Geminis. I love you, Geminis. I really do. But girl, You out here causing trouble. You out here having some mischief go on around you. You know, you doing your thing, having fun like Geminis like to do. Know that although it might feel like, okay, I've gotten away with things, maybe I talked more than I should have, maybe I shared more than I should have, maybe I asked too many questions that was being nosy and not to help anybody, but just for my own, entertainment or self-gain, that you're still maybe not getting all that you could from situations because of the way that you're going about it. So there's a better way to go about things. And so you might not get all 7 swords if you're just upfront and you're not, running around being a little shady. But instead of having to sneak around and be like, hoo-hoo, look what I got, you can be upfront and you can be fully yourself and you can be comfortable in spaces and in movement and doing the things that you want to do. So have fun, Gemini, but chill out a little bit, okay? And it's never worth it. The gossiping, the causing issues, the drama is never worth it. So just, you left 2 swords behind, girl. And those 2 swords can be picked up and they can be coming for you. So you don't want that. You don't need that. You've got good things going on. You've got good things going on. Look at all that's available for you. You don't need to steal. You don't need to trick to get it. Okay? You're good. Okay? Let's look at these Cancers. Cancers, what beauty, what wonderfulness, what perfectness for your sign, for your season, for your time. That 2 of Cups, you were like, okay, so maybe it did work out. Because Cancers, you had that Princess of Pentacles. You had that, you were doing the work. You were like, all right, I'm growing, I'm doing good things. And from that, look at that. Wisdom, healing, emotional wealth, being able to find partnerships. Look, but also I don't know if y'all can see, but look how dramatic they are. It's like watching a K-drama, okay? I mean, but this is the drama that the Cancers love. This isn't conflict drama. This is tension drama. This is romance drama. This is the, dramatic rendition and declarations of love and all of that wonderful fun stuff, and the stories that when people tell their love stories, folks are like, are you serious? Are you for real? That didn't happen. That's not how y'all met. That's not how y'all got together. And you're like, no, it is. We bumped into each other on the plane, and then he gave me his packet of peanuts, and I was just like, this is amazing, and we've been together ever since. This is it. So whether this is with another person or whether this is you building up that relationship with yourself, either way, delve into the fantasy of it. Delve into the coming together of the feminine and the masculine within yourself, and learning to nurture yourself, to stand up for yourself, to support yourself, and to therefore be able to really heal yourself in this time, in this moment where maybe there are some thoughts and some things popping up about past experiences that didn't feel quite so great. And have fun with it. Dramaturgy is a thing. Have fun with it. All right, Leos. Bum, 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 bum. That's that Princess of Pentacles. Now, you've gone through some things. You had the 2 of Swords, so you had a choice to make. And it appears that your choice is paying off. You have the Princess of Pentacles. That's that, we talked about this before, that's that energy of receiving. So now you've made a choice, and you've got to do the thing where you don't wobble on your choice, but you stand firm in your choice, and you're like, okay, this is where I am, and I'm going to receive what comes forth from this. I'm going to receive the outcome of the work that I've done, because you have this time of contemplation, this time of questioning, this time of just, there's so much going on, and everything, was moving so quickly externally, and you had to make so many choices. And so now you went from having the 2 swords to now there's 9 swords hanging up around you, and you know what? Give me your best shot. What you got? Because whatever you got, I'm ready for it. I've done my work, I've put in my time, and now I'm ready to receive my harvest because I didn't do all this work for nothing. And you will reap what you sow. It'll be okay. All right, so Virgos, this is, I feel, a move in the right direction because you've got the Queen of Cups. So you are feeling all the things. You are having all the emotions. You are having all of the experiences, right? You went from, let's see, where were you before? The Tower. So like everything falling apart, or perhaps just a big revelation. You just realize something. Maybe you realize that you really love this person, or maybe you realize that, this was just a really great experience. Maybe not. But what you did was you had this realization, you had this awakening, you had this epiphany, and now you're awake. And now you're thinking through all the things that got you here, but you're also like, not like that. You're also like, oh my gosh, I have feelings and they're okay. Other people have feelings and they're okay. I understand how to express myself intellectually, intelligently, in an emotional fashion. I can express how I feel. And with that, there's a strength that comes from that. There is a power that comes from being able to put to words your feelings and to be able to express that eloquently to others, and especially in a way that they can understand, which might not be something that has always been at your forefront, has always been something that you're really good at, but like that Cancer energy is supporting you fully stepping into being an emotionally mature person, an emotionally mature being, because you've realized that in order for you to be able to move on, in order for you to be able to fully hold this power, it can't all be by force. There has to be a connection that goes beyond you're just the best person for the job, or you're just the best, you were the best option that came up. That connections are more powerful when there's emotions behind them, and that you deserve to have those powerful connections beyond just financial. So now you're standing in your truth and in your power and in the womb. You are creating, you are the creator of the space. You are the holder of the energy. And now just figure out what you want to do with it next. Libras, we on the come up, okay? We made it, all right? Now, we might not be the most comfortable in this energy. This is the King of Cups, all right? It's looking good. This is a boss card. Now, Libras, I'm a Libra. Now, I'm a Pisces rising Libra, so I have probably a little bit more feelings, and I'm a little dramatic from the Leo moon. But we have a lot of feelings. Now, we act like we don't have a lot of feelings because that overall sense of need for justice and to advocate for others that I talked about before, that usually kind of overshadows some of our personal feelings about things, and is usually actually just empowered by our feelings. So we see it more as like a thought process of a logical, well, they did this and then this is the outcome. But that passion to drive behind that, to say that like, no, this isn't right, no, we need to do better, no, I need to fix this, no, this is not okay, is driven by our feelings, and our really deep feelings, and getting in touch with that, and such as with the Virgos, standing strong in that and saying, okay, yeah, I do have this, oh goodness. And if someone, let's get into this, if someone has hurt your feelings and you're like, they deserve to pay because no one should make anyone else feel this way. True, but that's not always the best route to take. You might want to take a look at examining your feelings and being able to say, that hurt me, and I don't like feeling that way, and I'm not going to put myself in situations where I'm feeling that way. And if this is a situation that will continue between you and I, or in this workspace, or in this home, then this means I might need to remove myself from this space. That is the clarity and the power and the sovereignty of the King of Cups. And this is the energy that we can embody at this time. we can say, yes, I have had some experiences. I am in a place right now where I'm thinking about these experiences, but I am mature now in how I feel, and I can say that what happened to me was not okay, that things I've done to other people have not been okay, and that I can change, and that others can choose to change or they cannot, and that I can make the decision about where it is that I would like to be. Good times for us, Libra. Good times. We've got some growth. We love it. All right, Scorpios, you got out of your head and basically just shared all of your turmoil with everyone else. Because, like, isn't that so Scorpio, though? Like, let's have a moment. Scorpios take these experiences, right? They take these emotions. They're water card, signaled by the Scorpio when they're doing really well and they're really getting into that, tapping into that eagle eye vision, that really seeing the greater purpose of doing this deep psychological and emotional work. They've seen through the eyes of the eagle. And then when they're really doing their work, they're rising up and they're being the freaking phoenix, okay? They've gone through the ashes. They've gone through the underworld. They burned down, and now they're up and they're flying, and they are a symbol of hope in the sky. Okay, wonderful Scorpios. So isn't it just like a Scorpio to be like, we were going through a lot of emotional work, and now it's time for everybody else to go through emotional work, and we're going to move on, and we're going to tap into this, like the counter energy of Cancer, and get into this Capricorn energy, and now we're going to make some choices about money that we like to make and things that we like to do. Like, where do we want to go now that we've fully delved into this emotional space now, in mental space of all these thoughts and experiences. Now we're going to figure out what we're going to do with it and how we can use our alchemy to balance out these pentacles, because we've got ideas now. We're ready to go now. Like, it's such a Scorpio thing, and I love it. Like, it's the greatest transference of energy and of work that it can be shown in some cards to say, like, well, we've done the work to help the world, and now it's time for the world to do their work to figure it out. And we're gonna go ahead and we've went to the underworld, we've risen, we're ready to move on to the next sign. I'm with you. I support you fully and totally. All right, so after Scorpios, we have Sagittarius. Sagittarius, see, I told you it was going to be good. I told you it was going to be okay. Because guess what? Now you've got the world. So, you had some conflict. You were wanting to make some, rash decisions. You were wanting to get some things done, but you slowed down and you're thinking it through and you're taking your time and you're remembering what happened before. Nine of Swords, you're remembering what happened before. So you're like, oh, right, okay, well then let me not make these same decisions. And when you do the thing, when you gain the wisdom, when you act as the Sagittarian can, because you have so much available to you. You have this energy, you have that fire that gets you up and gets you going. So you're able to explore, you're able to talk to new people and have all these new experiences. You're able to maybe not do the breath meditation, but you can definitely do different forms of meditation that are movement based and that are really, and even that breath of fire, things that get the energy flowing within you. And with that, you learn so much, and from that learning you get the wisdom, and then you're able to share with others. You're able to do what you do best, which is to guide and to teach and to, a freaking hermit card, you have the lamp and you're guiding others. You have that ability, and when you harness it, instead of staying in the same space, when you harness that and say, okay, here we go, let's do this, you're able to access and see the world. And from there, you learn even more, you grow even more, you expand even more, to go beyond just our world into the many things that lie beyond our dimension. And that is the gift and the lesson of taking a little bit of time sometimes to learn from where we've been. And to utilize having this time in the Hanged Man to review your thoughts and review how you come from A to B, and then how you will eventually get to see the world. So it's good. Good job. All right. Then we have Capricorns. Capricorns. Who's handling things? Who's got this? Oh, it's the Capricorns. Yes, it is. I want you to look at this Queen of Swords. Now, she might not look very happy, and that's all right, right? Right? But this is the progression. This is a great progression because you went from the Princess of Swords to the Five of Swords. So straight up just conflict. Straight up just like, how do I handle things? How do I come out on top and get what I'm looking for without having so much loss in the process, to the Queen of Swords? That means you dominated. That means you learned, you figured it out. But let's talk, because looking at all these swords, I'm like, what's happening here? What's going on? So I know quite a few Capricorns, and I greatly enjoy their company. I think Capricorns are the best. Like, literally, you need to get something done, you got to find you a Capricorn, because they'll get it done. They're very bright, very intelligent, very, like, they're go-getters. If there's something they want, they will make a plan and they will get there. They will make it happen. They make things happen. And through their progression, as they go from being Capricorn born in Capricorn season to then being to expand a little bit with the energy of Aquarius as they progress out of that sign, and then eventually getting to that Pisces, it helps them to kind of loosen up a little bit. But Capricorns sometimes can get so attached to a system. The Devil card is represented, is the representative of Capricorns. They can get so attached to a system, to a way of being, to an understanding of how the world works, that it ends up actually limiting their ability to be able to form new ways of doing things, because they're really good at that, of being able to figure out the best way to go about actually making something work. New systems, new plans, new laws, new ways of organizing our society, because they're so attached to, but this worked for so long, so why do we need to change? Like, they're not the signs of change. They ain't really into change like that. It helps when they get into more of that Aquarius time, but they're not really into change. They're like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, But they're unable to see that things are broken because they're blinded, because they're so dedicated to the system and not necessarily the outcome. So when they become a little bit more outcome focused, a little bit more outcome based, and you're saying, okay, yes, I went to school and I started the business and I started the family and I have the home and I have the retirement accounts and I have all these things, and the process seemed like it worked wonderfully, but in the outcome, if you're not happy, if you're really stressed, if you are constantly having to take care of all these other people instead of being able to rejoice and enjoy the things that you've worked so hard for, then did the process really work? And that's kind of where we are now with that Nine of Swords, is in having that contemplative, again, space to see where we've been and to see where we want to go. But what is beautiful about this for the Capricorns is in how they are able to express this in a way where it doesn't seem like they're just so strongly tied to the past that they are unable to move forward and see what did not work. They are taking a more objective stance instead of saying, okay, yes, maybe I got to this place in the end, but my gosh, it didn't have to be so hard to get there. And you can assess that. So there's a butterfly on here. And butterflies are symbols for new ideas, for lightening up, not being so serious, not taking themselves so serious. But then look at the sword, because girl, you're going to take somebody with a sword like that serious. So knowing that you can assess things and that you can be open and that you can try out new ways, and that you can incorporate those into the ways that you feel more comfortable with, but that you don't have to be so attached. You don't have to be so attached that you have to fight to the death to make it work. That is that Five of Swords. You have to learn to let go sometimes. You have to learn that, yes, there's loss. Yes, I can get to the end point, but you don't have to do so in a way that makes you or others always lose. That there can be other ways of getting to this end point. And I want to say, I think it's really commendable for the Capricorns to get a Queen of Swords, because I think that, like their opposite sign Cancer, Capricorns can be taken advantage of because of that heart, because of their wanting to help everyone, but then thinking that there's only one way, or that the way that is happening has to be the way that we just have to get everyone on board and then the way will work. And it's like, well, maybe you can change the way and then it will end up helping everybody by proxy. I think this is a really good card for you, Capricorns. And I would encourage you to find ways to express your ideas, to express these thoughts and feelings you're having, to while you're going through these processes and you're having all these thoughts and you're trying to figure them out because they feel so heavy, that a way to release and lift that burden, this is straight up Capricorn energy right here, to release that burden, to not to take yourself off the freaking cross, okay, Capricorns, is to share with others, to share the process with others. So, write, start a blog, talk with your friends, hang out with your family, talk to your partner, and share. All right, so we have 2 left. Aquarius, 3 of Wands, Aquarius. Oh, Aquarius, you are having a season of adventure. It seems like your last few cards, Princess of Cups, 9 of Pentacles. If this isn't growth, if this isn't expansion, I don't know what is. And now you've got a 3 of Wands. Look at these ships. Look at the wealth in this card. And the peace. Look at that stance. That's a power stance. This person isn't afraid of what's coming. They're not afraid to go. They're not afraid to move. You know, Aquarius, like, there's nothing to be afraid of at this time. You've done such great work, you know, and what I'm guessing is that these opportunities have presented themselves before. That you've been in these spaces where you have all this opportunity, where you've had all this growth, where you've had all these really great things, because you are a creative person who calls forth these things to you. It is your natural inclination. This is the age of Aquarius. It is your time to shine. And you're like, this doesn't work, we're going to change it. And they're like, oh my gosh, let's pay you a bunch of money to change it because we've never seen this before. And you're like, this is amazing. I'm doing my thing. I'm living my life. And you get into these really strong, wonderful, beautiful spaces. And then maybe you dip a little bit into perhaps this is too radical. Maybe you have different signs and different spaces that are like, this is too much. I'm too much of the rebel, you know. Unfortunately, we haven't seen the full outcome of Age of Aquarius. But we know that in progression-wise, it will go from Aquarius to Pisces, so you'll be really creative. You'll probably jump into some music, art, poetry. You'll express your emotions. It's beautiful. And then you'll move into Aries. And you'll feel a little more aggressive. You'll feel a little more sure of yourself and a little bit more like, we're not going to take it, you know? And that might bring some conflict. You know, that very smooth progression you felt might get a little bit more turbulent, especially since that air is being pushed up. You know, you've got that fire and you're just building off of each other. So, take your time. Hangman energy. Take your time. Chill out and enjoy what's coming to you. Don't overthink it. Oh yes, air sign Aquarius. Don't overthink it. Don't find things that need to be fixed that don't actually need to be fixed. Don't take this as so much of a, oh my gosh, I have all these choices and now I'm overwhelmed. Get in the power pose. Take the stance. And say, you know what? You all come to me. Oh, yes. Look at that. 'Cause this card isn't moving. This isn't the time for you having to move. Again, hangman energy. You don't have to move at this time. You're not the one who needs to be adjusting and changing. They're coming to you. So let them present themselves, and then you make the choice from there. All right, and finally we have Pisces. Pisces, you're killing it, okay? Freaking star card, connection with your Aquarius brothers before you, okay? Hopes. It's an 8-pointed star. Star of Ayana. I mean, I don't even really have anything to say. Let's see. Pisces, this is great. This is really great. It's the Hope card. It is the, you've had a lot of work that you've been doing. And you've had a lot of things that are coming up, you know. And this is a confirmation. This is affirmation. This is saying you're on the right path. Things are working out. You're doing the work. You're getting where you want to be. When the doubts come up, when the cups feel like they're too heavy, when you want to run into the escape of hanging out, reading, food, watching movies, drinking, you know, whatever is your escape that Pisces like to do, because it's easier to dream up something than it is to live it out in the real world. Take that deep breath. Maybe indulge a little. It is summertime. And then say, okay, back to the grind, back to the work. Rest is not a form of stagnation. It's not mean that you have stopped. It means that you are resting. You're taking a moment so that you can come back with more energy than what you had before. So take that time, take care of yourselves. You're doing great. Now I will say that there was a card that popped out, and it's the Justice card. Hello, Libra life. But look at this Justice card. The sword, the scales, and her eyes are wide open. Now sometimes the Justice card, the eyes will be veiled. They'll be covered because she's using her internal guidance system. But in this one, it's like, no, I'm wide awake. It's summertime. And in summertime, the sun is straight ahead. There's no shade. It's noon. It's high noon. There's no shade to hide behind. There are no shadows being cast. It is time to see everything for what it really is. And with that, there's justice that can come for things that have been done. So if you find yourself during this time, during this review time, during this time when you are examining all the things and you're having all the thoughts and the doubts are coming up and the questions and the overwhelm, you know, this will keep popping up. Justice will pop up, and it will say, I feel like, you know, the whole fear not thing, but like literally it will come up and you will find that the questions that you've had, the doubts that